I gotta make sure not to look at the screen.
Oh, hey, we're live.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing, Jeremy Hurt?
what's up, man?
Thanks for joining the podcast again.
Yeah, absolutely. What time is this now? Like the fifth? Fifth is it?
Oh
Or
boy, I don't
fourth?
even know. I should have looked. I was going to look because you've been on. You and another guy have been like going head to head
Oh,
for like since the beginning of the podcast.
I got competition, huh?
You have competition. He might have been on more than you though, but
Alright.
you're one of the most returned guests.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess we have a good time talking then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I mean, yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah.
I wanted to see actually. This has to be like your sixth time on the podcast.
I'm trying to think of all the like different pictures that I've had to take for like the the thumbnails or whatever. And there's the one where I was like pointing at my logo on the back of my shirt when I realized I had a bald spot on the back of my head. Like randomly down like low too. It was really weird.
What do you think that bald spot was from? It was like stress induced.
It might have been. I think it was too. It might have been from like a helmet, like rubbing on that spot. I thought, but then it didn't go away, and now I think it's just white. So
that's interesting.
I don't look at the back of my head very often, so I'm not too concerned about it.
It's weird because I got bald spots when I was younger, and it was because of stress. And the doctor was like, yeah, it's never going to go away. It's alopecia. It's from stress. Good luck.
Yeah.
And as soon as I moved out of the situation I was in, it grew back within 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, fully back. But then like a year ago, out of nowhere, for some reason, like things are great. And I started getting bald spots again. I'm like, what is this? And then so I got bald spots, and then I started developing like a gray patch in my facial hair.
Oh yeah.
And acne. And I'm like, what is going on?
It's like aging and like reversing at the
same
same time.
Like what is happening here? So I ended up getting going to like a dermatologist. They gave me some creams, and then it just eventually went away, and the bald spot filled in, and I still have the gray patch.
Those tend to stick around.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to my mom because like when my hair's longer, I don't notice the grays as much until I get a haircut, and then I see them all on the floor. But like for some reason, when it's the hair's on my head, I don't see it like as prominent as it is, which is really weird. And my mom said the same thing. So like,
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if all the other gray-haired people out there can can confirm this, but like, yeah, that's it seems black or browner when it's on my head.
Do you think you would ever do like the Rogaine or like the dyeing of the hair or facial hair?
I dyed my hair once, like 10 years, no, not even 10 years ago, and it was like a black because I thought my hair was darker than it was. And it was like it looked really weird. So that was my only attempt at that, and it was also called sapphire was the type of dye, so it had like this blue tint to it. And then I earned myself the nickname Sapphire at work for a while too. So I was like, I'll just stick with the natural whatever's going on.
That's an interesting thing where like middle-aged men dye their hair.
Yeah,
isn't it weird?
It's like,
I mean, like dye it not because they want like a cool color or something like that, but dye it for the purposes of trying to hide the gray coming in.
Yeah. Most of the people I've talked to tend to like the salt and pepper or whatever, the grays, or
like the women.
Yes.
Yeah, women love that.
There's definitely a good crowd of them that do. Yeah. So
yeah, it like shows, and I think I like it too. Like, and not in the aspect where I'm attracted to it, but I think it shows like a sense of wisdom. It makes you look a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah, like I've been through some shit.
Right. Exactly. Life's been rough.
It's taught me a thing or two. That's for sure.
What's even more interesting though is when you see somebody who's young. Like I work with this girl who's really young, and she dyes her hair like gray, like an old woman.
Yeah,
like silver almost.
Yeah, the what's the name? The not Dalmatians lady.
Yeah,
like streak or whatever.
Yeah,
people like to do that one too.
Cruella,
yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting with the styles that come and go, and
they always seem to come back.
Yeah, like 30 years I think is like the cycle of fads. So I guess we should be on the 90s soon.
I hope so. It's what's even funnier to me is the words or the verbiage of younger people. Like, I don't look at myself as like an old person.
Sure.
And like when I hired in at GM, I was probably one of the youngest people that worked there at the time.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, now there's young people like the age I was when I went in there, 18, 19, and they're saying these things. And I'm like, what are you even saying? They're like, I can't even think of something. But yeah, just like some of the slang words. It's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Base was one that I was confused by.
What does that mean?
I think it means it's good. It's based. It's like legit. See, and then we got to take it back to like our language, right? Like we got to translate it to the 90s language. Like it's legit, you know? Because like I was thinking like what I grew up with like hearing the word bass was like bass head and like crackhead. And, you know? So I'm like, I don't know what this word means, but but like language itself is really fascinating actually to see the evolution of it and how words can become like the opposite of what they were meant to be when they were created. And like just there's all kinds of crazy things going on in language.
Yeah. One of the ones I've heard is Riz.
Oh yeah, that's one I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. No, I had to look it up because there's a bunch of them that I heard. I actually kind of like some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them I do like.
There's a you know, every generation, yeah, I'm sure like our parents were like, what fucking cowabunga, or you know, like what are these words, you know, from the like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and wherever these words come from. I don't even know who. I want to know who like started like a word, you know, it had to start somewhere, right? Like it's one of the new ones, I should say, that have been added to the dictionary even now. Like they are always updating the dictionary, so
they definitely are, but it's more of like urban
now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, the words get me. I love it though.
Yeah, it adds a spice to life.
My son is obsessed with bruh.
Oh, bruh.
He's like bruh. He's always like bruh. I'm like, bro, stop saying bruh.
How he addresses everybody. That's awesome. Like, yeah, there's another one like that the spelling of it is what gets me sometimes. Like there's like they started spelling, like people started spelling I don't know, like ion, like ION. I don't know how it works out. But like that took me a minute to figure out. I'm like, what? This doesn't make any sense, like at all. Why are you talking about ions? Like ions. I don't even know. Like that's what it was. Like, yeah, I don't even know. But they spell it ion. What? So yeah, that's even worse. Like than hearing it, like seeing it spelled out, like is a trip.
So wild.
Yeah,
it's so wild because then I feel like I'm not in it anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm not in like the know.
I feel like I'm gonna have to like I'll keep updating my like slogan or whatever to like incorporate the hip words. But I'll probably do it way like completely wrong and just become like a laughing stock.
That's okay. Like, what's with his grandpa?
Yeah,
saying these slang words.
Yeah. Trying to be cool. Yeah. But then you become like known for like, you know, like those cheesy commercials and stuff that people are known for, that like they just, you know, they did it on purpose. They had to have. There's no way like they were like, oh, this is gonna be cool. I at least I hope so. That's what I hope for like humanity's sake. But you never know. They probably were like, this is the best thing we've ever made. And it's like that mattress. There's like mattress commercial or something where they're all singing a song, and it's just horrible. But it's like Sharknado. It's so horrible that it's like you want to watch it more.
Commercials are the most interesting thing for TV. It's like, who comes up with these? Because a lot of them suck.
Yeah.
A lot of them suck. And it's like, who came up with this idea?
Right. Yeah. Like people sat around a table and like.
Yeah. They formed this idea of like, hey, we should do this. And it's like, yeah, that's actually a good idea. Let's throw some money at it.
Yeah. Nobody was like, I don't know. This is really bad, guys. Not a single person.
It's so crazy. Like, I don't know. I've thought about doing a commercial for the podcast, like creating one myself. And I'm like, no, I don't know if I could see myself doing that.
Yeah.
Just every idea I've had, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be seen in that kind of light.
There is a lot of doubt, like when you're creating anything really, artistic like that or whatever. There's definitely a lot of doubts that circles around.
You had a lot of good commercials.
I had a lot of good people around me to make those. There was a lot of brainstorming too that went into them. We did we would just usually like meet up at a restaurant or bar or something and just start talking and things would come out and we'd work off of each other's ideas and stuff like that and eventually come up with something solid. But if it was just up to me, like they would have been horrible. So, and then I got to like act in them as well, which was fun. Because I didn't have to try to be anybody but myself.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah. So that was fun. And we won 5 Addies for our commercials.
Whoa.
So it's like a local-ish award show that they do for advertising, and it's a lot of students from MSU with their projects and stuff like that. But then they have other stuff. We were like far away from the norm of what was being like shown, because they had the award show. They had it at the NGC theater, I think.
Oh yeah, NCG.
Yeah. And so we got to watch them all on the big screen, which was
that's
fucking cool. Like to see a whole theater of people like watching like what you worked on.
Wow.
And we won 3. We entered 3 commercials. All 3 won gold. And then we won a Judge's Choice Award, and then we won an award for like the most total points of all the entries. Yeah.
That was that last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometime I think it was late last year. I know it was cold. I remember wearing a jacket. that's how I judge my times now. It's like, did I have shorts on or a jacket or
It's so crazy. I mean, we were just talking about how quickly, like it seemed like it was forever ago that you were on the podcast. Well, it seems like forever, but it also seems like it was just yesterday because you've done the podcast so much. But it's been over a year now.
Yeah.
And time has gone by so quickly, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just flown by. Like Christmas is like 27 or 22, 21 days, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know because it's December already. And
yeah, every month that kept going, like I'm like, oh my god, it's another month, like closer to the end of the year. Just like, what have I been doing? Like I my days are full, but then I look back and I'm like, what am I even doing with my time? Like I feel like I've accomplished nothing, but yet I'm always doing something.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's a shit, like God.
It's funny because we were on strike for 6 weeks. And during that 6 weeks, I just did podcasts like crazy.
Yeah.
I was putting them out like crazy. And then I think that's probably why I feel like it's already December. Like it's already December because this was like around Halloween. It was October into November. And and then now it's like, oh man, it's Thanksgiving went by and now it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the next week is New Year.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You want to drink a whiskey?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
What's
by the way, this is the first time I've ever used this.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
What's this?
It's a AR-15 decanter. There's American honey whiskey in it.
Okay.
How more American can you get than an AR-15 full of American honey whiskey?
Oh my god. That does it right there. That's hilarious. Where did you get that at? Online or something?
Yeah, my wife bought it for me for my birthday, and it has these bullets that look like they were shot into the glass.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so
somebody put some time into that. That's for sure.
They really did. Yeah. So this is the first time I'm ever using this. And my wife's probably going to kill me for drinking at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday.
Yeah.
However,
go take a nap. You'll be fine. How many episodes are you up to now?
This is 175 or no, 173.
Wow.
So I have actually over 175 episodes.
Uh-huh.
I just need to release a couple.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was thinking about it before I came over here, and I was thinking, I was like, he's got to be somewhere between 1 and 200, because
Yeah.
I know that you like were cranking them out for a while. So
Yeah, I mean, my goal was to hit 200 by the end of the year, but I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
because I would have to kill myself in order to achieve that goal, and I don't think I want to.
yeah. You gotta balance the, you know, everything,
Yeah,
yin and yang, and all that shit.
we I do plan on hitting 200 by the 3-year mark, which is the end of January. So
Oh, okay. 3 years,
3 years.
man. That's crazy right there. Because I remember the first show like it was yesterday, like that I was on.
Yeah.
But it was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Because I was one of your first kind of guests, right?
Yeah.
Like within the first dozen or something. I think.
Let's see here. I will pull it up. We have time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. Yeah, I know that because I remember talking to you about like knowing people around town and stuff, and now you've met like all these people from all these different walks of life, and gotten to talk to them. So that's
something that's always stuck with me when because I believe that was our first episode. I was like, I felt like such an outsider, and I had mentioned that, and you're like, no, well, now you're on the inside.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, that's always stuck with me.
Nice. Yeah.
But it's true because I mean, I've met so many people. I honestly probably have met a lot more people than most people.
Yeah.
Get to meet.
I guarantee it. Yeah. Like without, obviously there's some duplicates in there, but like close to 170, people that like, you wouldn't have met without doing this. So.
I would say at least 150 people.
Yeah.
I've probably met.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you were episode 20.
20. Okay.
That was the very first time.
20. Yeah. Nice. That was so like 150 episodes ago. And that seems like I said, that seems like yesterday.
It does.
Like
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was terrible at talking then.
Yeah.
Terrible at trying to like think of questions.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. Trying to just find my way.
Yeah. And like I think one of the harder parts of doing this is knowing your guests and like how their flow is, so you don't like interrupt them or
I think the most important thing is to let them talk, and then when they don't have something to say, then you try to have something to say.
Yeah,
that's what I try to do.
That's good. I don't really have guests on my show.
That's right, you were doing the podcast. And do you still do that?
Yep. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. But it's all on YouTube.
And it's kind of like a mixed show, right? Like you have a couple different things going on, and then you come in at a certain point, right?
It's so they've split those up now. So like it'll be on its own like thread or own video or whatever. But yeah, it's a show like that's about. I feel like it's like Seinfeld, like it's about nothing, but like
that's the best kind of show.
Yeah. it was it was originally like the concept was to be about poetry and songwriting, which we still incorporate some of that stuff in there. Just like a lot of it though, like tends to be like, oh, we're gonna play a song, and then I have a co-host for it too, and like we'll like go on like this 5-minute to 10-minute rant about whatever, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I was supposed to play a song, and then we play a song, and like and it's on a platform that is like all musicians. So like some of them get mad, just play the fucking song already. And I'm like, nah, this is how it goes, man. This is like the talk show on all the out of all the music show. Like you can listen to music on anybody's podcast there. Like we're gonna talk about stuff.
That's the beautiful thing about podcasts is you literally can just do whatever you want. Like for anybody to say, well, that's not how a podcast should be, or you should do this, or you should have it this way, you should like, I don't know, like it's your thing. You can do whatever you want.
Right. I mean, look at how many different kinds of shows there are out there, like different concepts and formats and categories, and just everything's covered. So like, why can't I do like whatever?
Yeah. And I think that's what attracts people to that specific thing, like to that specific show. Is that they like the way you do it or versus somebody else?
Yeah, absolutely. But so that's like, I guess that's like the trick is finding like your niche in that like world,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah. I recently I've been like bringing this back and forth in the show because I forget about things a lot, and but it's called the Wheel of Poetry. So it's literally a bike wheel, and then I write different forms of poetry, like the name of it, and tape it to a piece of paper that tapes to the bike wheel, and then I spin it, and whatever it lands on, me and my co-host have to write a poem in that form
Oh,
during the show.
whoa.
So and I explain it to everybody and like how it's supposed to go and like how many syllables are supposed to be here and there and what the rhyme scheme is and all that stuff. So it's we have a little bit of an informative part in the show too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, how did you learn about poetry? Like, what was the like, did you take a course or did you just kinda get into it and start researching, like, how to write poems?
So I took a creative writing class when I was young. And I have a few stories that I written when I was younger. And I remember trying to write a book at one point or some kind of longer story. And um it just wasn't like it just didn't feel right, I guess. And then I started playing music and working on like lyrics and stuff like that. And that turned into like writing poems because I didn't have the people to put the music to it really.
Mm,
And then during COVID, I started looking up all these different forms of poetry because I was bored and I just wanted to like test myself, I guess. So there was a list of 100 forms of poetry on a site called Writer's Digest.
oh, okay.
So I just started rifling through those. And then when I couldn't come up with ideas, I put a post on Facebook asking people for prompts. So then I would just like take that prompt and like put it up with the next poem that was in line and just go down both those lists. So like I had fresh ideas and like new forms and stuff to write in. And I thought it was gonna like limit my writing when you have like only so many syllables you can use and you have to do this rhyme scheme. But it actually improved it like quite a bit, I think. Because when you only have like 20 syllables, you have to make everyone count. So there's no wasted space in there.
Ah,
So like when you're free writing, you can write pages of stuff, and because there's no limitations and you can put like fillers in there and just stuff that's not necessary and things that you think might be good, but it's just, it's just taking up space. So when you're forced to like work with this inside a smaller space, you make sure everything is as good as it can be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So so you started this during, a couple years before COVID, and then
Well, I mean, I started writing poetry, probably or songs, I'll say, because that's what it started. Like in my, I don't know, I wasn't young. I was probably in my mid 20s when I started taking it like actually writing
and you were
stuff.
doing this at the Artist Umbrella as well too, right?
Yeah,
Are they even a thing anymore?
there's something. I
There's
just don't. I
something.
just don't know what really. I think they have a storefront downtown now that they're getting ready to open.
Really?
Yeah, right across the street from that middle village.
Okay.
So I know that they haven't done any shows since since Brandon passed. And I don't know what their intentions are. I met with them like once or twice after Brandon had passed, and we kind of just talked, and nothing really came out of it. So yeah,
Who's in charge of it now, do you know?
I think Roxy and Allison are kind of the
Okay.
ones manning the whatever's going on right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but hopefully they continue to do something to support the local artists and
Yeah, it gives, like, a
uh
sense of community for people who just wanna be creative and
sure.
display their arts.
Yep, yep. Yeah, and a lot of people came to find that was like a second home or maybe even the first home for a lot of people, those events and those pop-up things that they would do.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So So yeah, it's a shame, that Brandon's not around to do it anymore. But hopefully something comes of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually just had a memory pop up the other day that, it had been, I think, 2 years since Brandon was on the podcast, which is crazy. It's crazy to me to think that I had somebody on the show that passed, but which is, it's a sad thing for me because, like, ugh, that's like I spent time with that person.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it is weird. Like for me, it usually comes like in like at like random times too. Like I'll see somebody or hear something, that reminds me of a person, and then I'm like, damn, like I'm not never gonna see that person again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a crazy just the way that your brain tries to, understand all that
Yeah.
is interesting.
I had a friend, that actually went to school with him, but we ended up working together, a couple years ago. Actually, it was like 2017, I believe. And I would hang out with him, well, not really hang out with him, but like hang out with him at work and stuff. And then we'd work out together in the gym every single day. He worked in my team.
Yeah.
And he ended up one night just shot himself on accident. And it's like, man, like that's like how does your brain even process that when you lose somebody like that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
This is crazy.
that is a rough one. Yeah.
It was yeah, I don't know. It was it's hard to process when somebody's not supposed to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But that like and at the same time though, like we have to realize that like, it's all of us are like that susceptible to this being our last day, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like you gotta that's like I hate to use cliches and stuff, but the whole live every day like it's your last and stuff like that is like it's true, man. Like
Don't waste time.
yeah.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't waste time. I have a coworker that we this week. Oh, this guy, he told me he asked God how he was gonna die.
Okay.
And because he wanted to know how he was gonna die. And then God told him that, or revealed to him that he was going to have his head chopped off.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, bro, why would you want to know that?
Wow. He didn't tell him what time, like though. He just didn't.
No.
He just knows that's how. Like
Just how. And I'm like, so like all week long, every time I'd see him, I'm like, hey, it's good to see you in my neck of the woods. Like,
yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, it was.
Like he'd never go to another medieval festival or like
No.
around anywhere that there's
a
swords.
guillotine.
Yeah. Oh man,
I don't want to know how I'm gonna die though. That's the thing.
yeah, I don't. It's so. There was a question that was that I heard that was like there was three questions. I can't remember all three of them, but they were like, if you had to ask someone three questions to get to know them the best that you possibly could, what three questions would you ask them? And the first one was, if you knew you were gonna die in an hour and there was no way that you could make it to your friends or family or loved ones, what would you do with that hour?
Oof.
Yeah.
Depends where I'm at.
A lot of people were like, and then it said like, then the end of it was like, that's how you should spend the first hour of every day that you wake up. So a lot of people were like, well, great, I already cry and shit when I wake up anyways. I already cry and freak out for an hour anyways. But a lot of people's answers were just to lay down and look at the sky, regardless of what time it is. Just watch the clouds or the stars or whatever, and just chill,
just be.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I would do too. Unless I had access to an airplane, then I would go parachute without a parachute.
Just end it.
Well, I mean, like, what a rush, right? Like,
Have you ever gone skydiving?
No, I haven't.
It is one of the most terrifying but relieving and calming things that you could possibly do. So before going skydiving, I actually have a skydiving certificate.
Okay.
It was up there. I don't know where it went, but I went skydiving a couple of years ago, and it was scary because like your nerves are all worked up before you're going. You see people jumping out, and you just kind of work yourself up.
Yeah.
And then you get in the plane, which is a tiny little rickety plane that's like driving across an airstrip that's on like a field. And so it's like, like, and then you finally take off and you feel the plane shake, and you're like, am I in World War II? What is going on? Like, what kind of airplane is this? And then they start, strapping you in, all that stuff in the airplane. And then the moment when you're sitting on the edge, looking down, and you're like, I'm going to jump out of this airplane, is one of the most surreal moments of your life. Because two things can happen.
Yeah.
Technically, three things could happen. I could just be like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going back in the plane.
Yeah.
Two, we're doing this. Or three, we're doing this and we're going to die.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's three things that could happen. And so for me, like when I jumped out, I was scared at first. I'm like, this is a scary thing. We're falling, he's twirling, like we're spinning, spiraling towards the earth. And finally, after we stopped doing that, we're just floating. After the parachute went off, we're floating. And it's one of the most calming, peaceful things. It's so quiet and just it's wild. It's a wild experience.
Yeah.
I should be high into it.
I can't like, yeah. I can't even, like just to experience like the world from like way up there. Like there's, astronauts will tell you like when they've gone up into space, like they just see the world in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And obviously you're not that high up, but like still you get some of that serenity, I suppose.
Right. Well, you realize that there's something to life that's bigger than you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And you see that like it's just one thing, right? Like it's fucking planet Earth. Like that's it. Like there's no boundaries from where you're looking at, there's no lines. There's just the planet.
And nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters.
Right.
All the bullshit in life doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
Just your mortality at that point.
Yeah. Right. And in either way, like, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to die because they're going to have regrets. But like I feel like when we're gone, it's just like, that's, you're not going to regret anything. You're just going to be dead.
You definitely won't regret anything. You won't be here to regret.
Yeah. So like that, like instant, like if you're like, parachuting or like in a freak accident or something, like, it's like, I feel like the regrets would come like if you got like time when you like are in bed, like bedridden and stuff like that. And like, then you got time to reflect and you're like, fuck, I should have done this or that. And like,
that's why I try not to live with no regrets.
Yeah, regrets. Yeah, it takes a lot to be able to do something like that, because there's things like that you may like screw up, right? When none of us are perfect, so like but then it's about like making sure that you make it right, so you can like move on from it, right? That's at least that's what I've found. Like if I want to live with no regrets, like I got to take care of the shit that I fucked up.
And that requires taking accountability for the things that you've done, for the things in your own life. Accountability is a giant thing.
It is because it's a lot easier to just blame shit on other people, than be like, oh yeah, I fucked that up. I think I've screwed up so many things. I've just gotten used to saying, yeah, I fucked up.
But that's important. That's an important thing to like say and realize, is that if you fucked something up, that you're the one who did it,
right?
Not blame it on somebody else.
Right. Yeah. I feel like there's a freeing feeling to admitting that you are the one that screwed up if you did. Like it's like, because people like usually don't hold stuff against you like when you're honest about it and stuff like that. It's like nobody's I can't think of a significant situation where I've been like, oh yeah, that was my bad, I screwed up, like and someone was like, no, fuck you, like didn't want to accept my apology or even like talk to me or anything after that. Usually people are pretty accepting, but you also have to like make steps to not do that again too,
right? Well, they can't hold you captive to the things that you had done.
They shouldn't.
They don't have any power over you because you already admit to yourself that you messed up.
Right. Yeah. The whole cleaning your side of the street,
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like, and plus when you like, when you're blaming other people, you just got to keep, it's like lying, it's like getting caught in a lie where you just got to keep going and going and going. You get further and further from the truth, and like the next thing you know, like you don't even know what the truth was, and it's just so much easier just to fucking come clean and deal with it.
Absolutely. Well, cheers, brother.
Yes.
This is, I don't know, 6th, 7th episode.
Something like that.
Oh, that's so good.
That is good. That is tasty.
That is so good. It is the American Honey by Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey.
Not bad. They did a good job. But yeah. So I gotta bring up too. I'm bringing back the advertising. I remember I was on one of the shows. I think it was the last show I was on. Actually, I was talking about that.
The screen.
Yeah, the digital billboard.
Yeah.
So like over the last year, I've had like so many things going on. Like I've tried. I had the pedicab that I was doing for a while. Trying to implement that, and like I was trying to do the advertising and then sell advertising on the pedicab, and like I spread myself way too thin on everything. And in my eyes, I was like, well, it's all like the same kind of project, so it'll be easy to like incorporate everything together. But it was like running like 5 different businesses at once. And
yeah,
I
understand.
I couldn't give anything the attention that it needed to get it running like it should. If things were already going, it would probably be a lot easier just to like, keep everything manicured and upkeep. But like to get it off the ground all at the same time was like, it just became too much for me. So I got rid of the pedicab. That's like, I was leasing it from somebody anyway. So I just gave it back to him. I'm just like gonna put all my focus on the delivery and the advertising. Well, more of the advertising actually, because I had some people approach me about they were interested in buying some ad space, and so I've been the last month and a half or so, I've been researching traffic patterns and how many cars go through these intersections a day, and figuring out like price points as far as like if there's this many ads on the screen and they play for this many seconds, and in an 8-hour day, how many plays is that, and then how much does that cost per play if it's $200 a month or whatever. Whoa. And like, yeah, putting together a presentation, and I don't know shit about PowerPoint. So thank God for AI. Like, this is a great time for AI to be around, because
tell me about it.
Saved my ass.
AI has. It's funny. I have coworkers that make fun of me because I use AI for a lot of things. I use ChatGPT for the podcast, creating descriptions. I use it for just dumb things. Like I'll ask it a dumb question. Like if I don't know an answer to something, like, hey, what is this? What does this mean? And then it'll completely explain it to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I use that. There's so many different, there's AI for literally everything.
Yeah.
Pictures, you can use it to like correct pictures. Like if somebody's not looking at the camera, it can like change. I wonder what it does for somebody who has like different eyes going different directions. Yeah. I wonder if it fixes that.
Lazy eyes stuff, yeah.
Like Sam Bernstein.
Yeah. Oh man.
I wonder if it would correct it.
I don't know. You might break the algorithm. But yeah, they got plugins for Google Docs and Google Sheets and slides and all that stuff. Like you just type in like the description of what you want and like all the information that you need, and it puts it into the slides and puts graphics on there and everything. Oh, wow. Dude, it's insane.
What is it? It's Google.
It's a plugin for Google. You know how they got their little plugins, like, or whatever. Yeah. So, and it's through ChatGPT.
Okay.
And you just activate it when you open up like a new Google Slides or whatever, and then it brings up a screen where you type in everything that you need, and it puts it all out there. Like, it's insane.
That's crazy. It's so crazy. What do you think? Where do you think this AI stuff is going? Do you think it's going to be good for humanity?
I hope so. It should be. That's like, what I think that's the purpose. The hope behind it is that it's moves us forward. And like I see artificial intelligence and like robots and stuff like that, taking over like jobs and stuff like that. I see it as like something so like that was supposed to happen. Like we are supposed to build robots and like this stuff to take their jobs so we didn't have to work them anymore. But we've gotten to this point where it's like it's such a it's such just a necessity to work, to make money, to pay bills, right? Like that like I don't know if we can get away from that ever.
I don't think we can get away from it, but I think the way we look at like what would be a typical source of like employment, like let's say for instance, auto manufacturing,
Yeah,
that might change.
right.
Like obviously they might not have the need for workers to put parts on a car. They might have robots, AI doing these things, but you still need people to run and operate those systems.
Sure.
And so and fix those systems when they crash, because
Right.
we have robots at work and I can tell you right now they're not perfect at all. They mess up all the time.
Yeah.
But humans don't mess up as much as they do sometimes.
Yeah.
And so you need people to be able to fix those things.
Mhm.
And so I think the way we look at the workforce is just going to evolve, kind of like the way grocery stores have evolved with like cashiers checking people out.
Mhm.
Now you have people who are stocking shelves and more, because you have more people ordering groceries online.
Mm.
You have people delivering groceries. Like it's just, I think things are just going to kind of form. Sure, they're going to cut back on employees. I'm
Yeah,
sure,
yeah. It definitely
but
requires less employees,
but
but like yeah.
I think it's just the dynamics of things will change.
Mhm. I think there's going to be new ways coming out to make money too, and I think a lot of it's going to be online, like doing surveys and stuff like that.
Well, we've already seen that.
I know, and it's becoming like a lot more prevalent. I have like a survey thing that I get emails from that like send, it's like a pre-questionnaire for the survey, and if you pass that, then you get to, and it pays like I haven't seen anything like under $100.
Whoa.
Yeah, like some of them are up to $400 for taking a survey. Now you don't get accepted for everyone because a lot of them are looking for a specific demographic or whatever,
Right.
for their survey, but like it's a good side hustle, like because it takes like almost no time, and you can get, then you just get the shit deposited onto a card digitally, and you're done.
It's so crazy. And there's so many different ways you can make money online. I mean, I think COVID was a big thing for that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, making money digitally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's sites that, because and that's what to tie it all together. The way that they can give people money is they sell ad space on their games, on their apps and stuff like that, and then they pay people that way. So like it's all about advertising now, I guess.
Yeah, no,
Like
it really is.
everybody wants to get their name out there and get known, and like you got to be noticed so many times before people even really pay attention to what you're doing. So you have to advertise in so many different realms, if it's like, my billboard or online, or on a bus, or, a standalone billboard on the side of the highway. Like,
What do you think is the most efficient way to advertise your business today?
either digital billboards or online are probably the two best now. I know that like the digital billboards have like it's like a 70% like more retention rate than regular billboards. And like
Yeah, because your eyes gravitate towards the LC, like the LED,
right,
or
right.
is it LED? LED
Yes.
lights?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you know, even with my like the backpack, it's 2 feet or whatever. It's not huge, but like um, you know, and when you're driving down the road and someone sees it, they're not gonna like if you're driving past a regular billboard, nobody's gonna be like, oh, look at that big ass thing on the side of the road, but like somebody's gonna point that out to the rest of the people in the car, which is gonna make them go, oh, like it's gonna bring more attention to it. Plus, they're gonna be like, "What's this asshole doing riding a bike in the road?"
It's the middle of January.
Yeah,
Get a car.
Right? uh, and then like, yeah, but yeah, so it's all, but whatever is bringing attention to the ads. So, yeah, it's. I think that those two are definitely, just because like people are online so much now, on their phones and stuff like that. and then like yeah the just the I don't know how to say it, just the ability for a digital billboard to catch everyone's attention better than something static.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see the interview with Elon Musk about the Disney advertisement?
No, but I can imagine how it went.
He told them to go fuck themselves.
Oh, that was the one where he said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were asking him if the company went bankrupt because advertisers pulled their advertisement funds, what would you think of that? And he said, "Well, if they're going to blackmail me with money, they can go fuck themselves."
Oh. Huh.
And then he said, "Earth will know that these advertisers tanked the company."
Earth will know. He's such a weirdo. God, like he's insane. I swear to God. I saw this thing that was like it put Elon Musk quotes next to Dwight Schrute. It was like perfect. Like it sounded like something Dwight Schrute would say from The Office. But like, I don't know. The dude's like, he's got money, so he can put it wherever he wants. Like I was like, God, like if I had like like just money to just pick from like all day long, like there's no way I would fail as an entrepreneur, because I would just move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing, and like eventually something's gonna work, right? You throw enough money at it.
Well, I mean, he owns like so many different, some of the top. I mean, obviously Tesla, one of the top.
Which just lost what, like $30 billion or something.
Did they?
Recently. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, most of the auto industry lost a lot of money because of the strikes.
Well, like this is like they're like people are seeing like maybe that electric isn't like the best, like as good as like people were pushing it.
Well, no, it's definitely not, and that's something that I'd like to talk about, that because the auto industry, I mean, that's something like the big three have been like hammering for the last few years is EVs. We need to focus on the EVs. I mean, they're building battery plants. There's a battery plant that they're building right next to our plant.
Yeah.
And like they want to put all their chips in one basket, or one eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And it seems that it's not sustainable, and I think they're starting to realize that. Ford and the CEO of GM, I think they've come out and said that.
Yeah. I don't know, like I haven't really heard much about like the new like whatever they figured out. I know that like Toyota's CEO, who stepped down as CEO, like because he was like fuck shit. Like he was I don't know. He's still like the president of the board or something though. But like and the dude's a genius. Like when imports were getting a bad name, he increased the price of Toyotas so people wouldn't buy them, because he wanted to get like his stuff like in American plants or whatever, or something like that. It was like a move like I don't think anybody else would have made. But like he's been saying for a long time too that like electric isn't like the only solution. Like he's not saying like that we have to stick with fossil fuel burning vehicles. But like there's hydrogen and there's other ways to move away from carbon. And like I'm like I've been a big a fan of the electric revolution, or whatever you want to call it. But I do believe that like it has its problems, right? Like it's nothing's perfect. And as we start to learn more about these things, with everything else, like science, will tell you eventually like what is the best way. So yeah, I mean there's problems with the mining and stuff like that for the lithium, all kinds of stuff. But like I think the big thing is like with the carbon footprint that we're leaving, like that has to be reduced somehow. Like to me, that's what I see.
So did you see that Toyota said that they were moving away from EVs? They were going to put more focus into the combustion engine.
Yeah.
So this is an article from Reuters. It says Toyota. Oh, geez. Toyota looks to overhaul EV strategy as new CEO takes charge.
Yeah.
April 6th. Okay. After making, I can't see. Hold on. I'm getting old, dude. I have to wear glasses now. All right. After making sweeping changes to its leadership team, Japan's Toyota Motor Company is looking at a factory floor overhaul as it maps out a move to a new dedicated platform for battery electric vehicles. 4 people familiar with this matter said. Koji Sato may confirm that new EV architecture is in the works at its first briefing as CEO on Friday. One of the people has said it was, however, not immediately clear as the Thursday evening as to whether the plan had been formally approved. They just announced it not that long ago. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is saying that.
Yeah. But that's what I was talking about, like how like the CEO, you see there's a new CEO. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, like the dude was like just done with it, I guess. But like I said, he made some moves that were, and like he's been saying for a while that like this isn't, because like, yeah, everybody's, like you said, putting all their eggs into one basket and talking about, you know, all this crazy infrastructure change and things that need to happen and need to happen fast. So to see that, I mean, that requires not only like changing a lot of things, like the way of life as we know it, but also the world working together. And like,
Right.
we've seen how I don't think we've seen how that, like, we've seen that we can, you know, oppose each other quite well. So I don't see this like culmination of the world happening in the next 20 years or whatever.
It's just crazy because like General Motor, all the big 3 wanted to be completely EV by 2035.
Right.
And it's like that's not sustainable. That's not even like that's not going to work.
That's coming up pretty quick.
Extremely quick.
Yeah. I think, doesn't California's like talking about like no carbon emissions like as a law,
yeah,
like 2040 or something like that.
I thought it was before then.
It might be. Yeah, it might be as the 2035 as well. But yeah. And California has always been like the progressive, you know,
Extremely.
yeah. They also got, you know, people that have like jobs as professors and shit that live in their cars because they can't afford to live in that state. So.
It's so ridiculous to live there. So expensive.
Like, could you imagine like having to go to a job like every day and like not having a place to like call home? Like, that's like, but you're doing what you're supposed to do, right? It's just like everything's gone
That's funny.
through the roof as far as like
oh man, sorry, I was trying to pull up this article, but I got kicked out of it.
Kicked out of an article.
I did, and what was funny is it's a GM article and a Ford ad popped up and kicked me out.
Nice.
It says GM abandons goal of building 400,000 EVs in North America by mid 2024.
Yeah. Oh, mid 2024. Wow.
That is crazy. Probably because of the strike, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, that put us back a lot.
Yeah.
The strike. Yeah. I mean, we were supposed to have a launch of a new vehicle by the end of this year.
Yeah.
And because of the strike and different things, we're not launching it right away.
Well, I have to say congratulations on that though. Like you guys got, seems like you got most of what you wanted, right? Or it was a good compromise, whatever the
I mean,
result was.
I think that a lot of people, so this is the thing, it's impossible to make everybody happy.
Sure.
And it's impossible to get everything that you want in a contract negotiation, but you can, I mean, I feel like what we got wasn't bad. The only thing I didn't like that we didn't get was work-life balance, because I feel like we work a lot and we're going to work a lot for the next 4.5 years.
Yeah.
With little to no time off. And that's the one thing I'm not happy about. I don't want to work every Saturday, 9 to 10 hour days plus sometimes.
Yeah. Shit, I remember my dad worked and retired from Ford, and I remember him coming home some days to like sleep for like 3 hours and then going back to work.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
yeah.
So I'm gonna read this article real quick. Hold on.
All right.
All right. So it says GM abandons goal of building 400,000 vehicles. Okay, so GM has announced that it's pulling back on its ambitions to build 400,000 EV units in North America by mid 2024 calendar year timeframe. However, the general says it's still on track to hit its goal of reaching an annual EV production capacity of 1 million EVs in North America by the end of 2025. That's a lot.
Yeah.
General Motors has also detailed delays in retooling the GM Lake Orion plant in Michigan for production of the Chevy Silverado EV and GMC Sierra EV all-electric pickup trucks. Okay, so they're just running behind on production, which is what they're saying.
Yeah, so
that's probably due to the
they're not going to put them all out like as early as they thought, but they're going to get them all out eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this is what I think. I think with the EVs, I think it's a good option to have, but you can't just go all electric. It's not sustainable.
Right.
You can't just get rid of that option.
I agree. I think like, and there's going to be carbon something for years and years and years and years and years to come, because like we just can't get rid of it right now.
Right.
Like it's a necessity to our you know, way of making things, of surviving.
So do you know what's kind of funny? Is not really funny. We should be concerned about is China is one of the leading one of the leaders in fossil fuels. They've been building these I'll see if I can find an article on that. They've been building like crazy these hold on. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. Everybody's listening.
Yeah. I'm sure they wanted to know too.
Yeah.
It's good information. China buffet. Go back. I need lunch.
China building.
Order some delivery real quick.
Yeah, where's Red Bike at? When you need them?
It's in there. You just gotta Google it. I got my website up now too.
Do you?
Yep.
I can't think of what I wanted to type.
Are they building like more like fossil fuel burning factories? Yeah. Fossil fuel subsidy companies. Whoa, 2.2 trillion.
Okay.
That's a lot of big numbers. Right there.
Let's go to Reuters right here. Okay, let me screen share this. We'll check out your website in a second.
Yeah, definitely. I started a Patreon too.
Did you?
Yeah. I just figured, like, you know, I might as well have all the options out there, you know, and I might use it as like for like a subscription kind of thing.
Yeah.
Too. Like if you subscribe to my Patreon for like $5 a month, you get like a free delivery.
Oh, that's a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good move. Okay, so this is Reuters. EU governments were among those that have increased support for fossil fuels since Glasgow, mainly as a response to energy security concerns following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Here are some examples of how fossil fuels are subscribed around the world. China's total fossil fuel subsidies were the highest in the world at 2.2 trillion in 2022, amounting to 12.5% of the country's total GDP, according to the IMF. IMF, yeah.
A lot of letters.
The bulk of the subsidies are implicit, a category which include undercharging for environmental costs or forging tax revenues. Yeah, I don't know. They've been buying. Let's see here. U.S. fossil fuel subsidies stretch across the U.S. tax code and makes detailing their costs complex. The IMF estimates they stood at $760 billion in 2022. That's crazy.
Yeah, and like China's way above that.
Way above.
But it says up top, like China unveiled a new scheme earlier this month that pays coal-fired power plants not for the electricity they supply, but for making capacity ready and available to the grid when needed. Which is interesting, I think.
Because they're gonna probably sell it to us.
Yeah. I mean, that does happen, right? Like there's like even like from state to state and stuff, isn't there like electricity sold to each other and stuff like that? Like if you have excess, I suppose, I don't know how that shit works.
I don't know how it works. I'm too dumb.
It's it's there's a lot to it. And like one of the problems with like solar energy and stuff like that is like we haven't figured out how to store it yet too. So like anything extra just gets like burned off or whatever.
Right. And you have to have a lot of batteries too, right?
I believe so. Yeah. And then so like the batteries obviously need to grow and become like better than they are, because like right now it's like you can add more power to something, but the battery weighs so much that it actually takes away from the power by adding it, which is like sounds weird, but like yeah, you put more weight on, then you're putting power into it by adding the extra battery. So you're actually taking away power by adding an extra battery.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I bought my brother he bought himself an electric bike.
Yeah.
And the battery to that thing is, I mean, they're heavy.
Yeah.
It's really heavy.
Yeah. Yes, they've gotten better, but yeah, they're good, I don't know, 10 pounds probably.
Wow.
And that's like mine's not even like a big one. Like, I mean, you look at those like boat batteries.
Oh yeah.
That are like
batteries.
Yeah, those things are like 150 pounds, some of them. But like they'll run shit for a long time, but and they're rechargeable. I think to like this is like so like when a Tesla's battery is done for the Tesla, it's actually only burned through like 20% of its battery life.
Whoa.
So there's still like a ton of battery life left in that. It just can't be used at the level that the Tesla needs it. So like it can be used for other things. It can be recycled and reused and stuff like that. So there is like,
how do you recycle them?
There's places you can take them to that do it. I've looked them up online. Even in Lansing, there's like 1 or 2 places that you can take, dead, or so. So see, the thing is like, they're hardly ever dead. Like they have like a lot of life left in them. It's just, they can't power what they were powering before because they can't charge up that high anymore.
So can they repurpose that battery somehow for something else that doesn't use as much energy?
I'm thinking so. Yeah, that's what I believe is like the the purpose of that, like is to be able to like put them on like a laptop or cell phones or something like that, because these all run off lithium batteries.
Yeah.
So but yeah, there's still a lot of life left in them when they're done with a Tesla or whatever.
So this is your website.
Yeah.
Sure. So
www.redbikeDelivery.com.
So did you create this website yourself?
No, I had some help. I was involved in the process.
I like that bike. That's sweet.
That was the first red bike.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's sweet looking.
It was a Gravity HD was the name of it. I found it on one of those like Bikes Direct or whatever. Where you like go on their website and it's just like blinking lights everywhere and like hundreds of bikes in the middle. And you're like, what am I supposed to do? And yeah, that was also the first one to get stolen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you've had some really bad luck with that.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Even the one that I brought here today, that cargo bike, has been stolen twice. Yeah, and I've gotten it back both times, obviously. Luckily. The first time, like both times they were locked up. The first time somebody cut through the lock, actually cut through my disc brake to take the lock off.
Somebody hates you.
I know, right? they just don't want me to have anything nice. That's for sure. But yeah, so like this is the services, like and then there's pricing and details of like what it is. It's kind of, it's not it's kind of, what do I want to say, like it's just a basic like more of a landing page kind of setup, right? Like, so at least people have a place to go to find out how to get a hold of me, or like so like if you like do like the book now, it'll take you to my Calendly website, and then you can everything's broken up, every day is broken up into half-hour sections, so you can request a time to get a delivery, if you're that type of person that plans ahead. And if not, then you just, hit me up and let me know what I got to do. But yeah, at the time when we made it, the pedicab was part of the business model. And I might bring it back because the idea with that was I was going to pick people up on the pedicab and then take them grocery shopping and then bring them home with their groceries on the pedicab. So like people that lived in like, within like a 1 mile radius of Meyer,
Right.
would I would go pick them up and stuff and then do that.
Have you thought about doing like tours of Lansing?
I have actually. I've been talking to some people that have had some ideas about that, and it would be cool. Like the only problem is like I can take like 2 people, so like it'd be cool for like a date, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like it wouldn't be like one of those like ones that everybody pedals or whatever that like can fit like 20 people, stuff like that. So
could you get one of those?
Oh God, I don't even want to know how much those things cost, because the pedicabs that fit 2 people are like $5,000 and up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like for a base model, it's like stripped down to nothing, basically. No electric, no canopy, no like none of that stuff is $5,000.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's not cheap to get one of those.
Holy cow.
That's why I was leasing one from somebody. So yeah, and you can find them used, but they hold their value pretty well, so you're not going to get like anything much cheaper. And then there's the insurance that you have to get and stuff like that, which is expensive, and just dealing with the city too on like
permits and stuff.
Yeah, like like, are we cool, or like what are you going to be bothering me, like what do I need to do?
Does
like,
Lansing have one of those pedal what do you call those big things where like 20 people can sit on?
Yeah,
what are those
like,
called?
They do like the bar crawls and stuff with them or something. They have one. I know I've seen one. I don't know who owns it. I don't know the name of the company or any of that stuff, but I've seen it like sitting outside like the bars on Michigan Ave and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I know there's something around like that. It's probably, I feel like every time I see it, there's like some like like bridal shower, or like like something like that going on
Yeah,
there.
if you go to like Nashville, they're bridal showers. That's all they do is they ride around in buses and those beer bike things.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see how they're set up and how they work, but because somebody's not going to be pedaling the whole time.
I won't be. I'll be drinking.
Put in your work. You're like the Viking that's not rowing. Eventually, you just get thrown off the ship.
Have you ever done that? The rowing? Have you ever seen that? No. Here in Lansing, they have like the rowing teams that go down the Grand River.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen that at all.
That's pretty cool. I actually wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can join like a class.
Is it like one of those long ass boats?
Yeah.
Like the racing ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big workout. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
it's exhausting.
It's like one of the like 3 machines that they put in gyms. That
rowing machine,
like rowing, a bike, and a treadmill.
I used to have a trainer, and he would put me on the rowing machine, and I absolutely hated him for it.
Yeah,
I remember like he would have me do these sprint sessions on the rowing machine, and I would be sprinting. And then you'd get like 20 seconds rest. And during that 20 seconds rest, I'd fall on the cement floor, and I'm just laying there. And he's like, come on, 10 seconds, get up. And I'm like, oh, I hate you right now.
Yeah. Those 20 seconds go by so fast. Dude. Like, yeah. Any break you get is just like over like that. And then you start going and you're like, this is just never going to end. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be interested in checking that out. It sounds like cool. I was one of my other business ideas that I haven't even tried to bring to fruition was to have to have transportation between Old Town, Rio Town, and downtown. Was to have like gondola type things on the river. Like, so, like they like take you down the river, like two people or whatever, and it's like Italy or Venice or whatever,
Oh
where they got the
yeah.
big boats and like
Yeah.
they're like singing and shit, but we don't have to sing
Singing and
you don't have
shit.
to sing love songs or whatever, or like get like those big swan boats that you pedal with your feet, like in the like tunnel of love and like stuff like that. Like just to have like transportation between those areas, I thought would be cool. Like to utilize I feel like the river is like so underutilized.
The only problem with a river is, isn't there like only one way you can go on the river?
Probably
Because
effectively,
then you'd be going upstream and
yes.
fighting. Yeah, that would be difficult.
Yes, it would be, but people do it. I mean, like the canoe trips go upstream. That because like where they rent them from at the Lansing Center, you go like you go upstream and then you come back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I don't think it goes that fast. I don't know. I've never been in it
until you get to Old Town.
It kind of stinks.
You've never been in the Grand River?
No.
We did the canoeing thing once. We so the way we did it, we rented it at that place, down by the Lansing Shuffle.
Yeah.
And then they dropped us off at
that might
near
be
near LGR or the smokestacks near there. So they dropped us off there, and it was like I think it was like a 2-mile ride or something.
Yeah.
But it took like an hour and a half or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like winding and all that shit.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I see. Okay. I'm probably wrong then, because I assumed that you just rented them there and you took off from there.
No,
and then went upstream.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
But I do know, like I've been at other river like similar setups, like the tubing or whatever.
Yeah.
In Phoenix, actually, like you go down, I think it's the Colorado River or something like that, where it's slow. It's not like rapids and shit like that. And you tube, and like Memorial Day is a huge, like there's like news helicopters out, and there's like thousands of people on this river. It's insane.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah. And they bus everybody. You go up there, you get this big ass black tube, and then they bus everybody to a certain destination, and you load off, you hop off there and load into the river and just start floating. And there's certain spots where you can stop and people cliff dive and do all that stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It's fun. But like there's lots of spots where like the river's like it's like this deep, literally.
Yeah.
Like inches.
And then you get stuck. And you got to get out and push it.
Stuck. And
it happened to me in the Grand River.
But it's also like where it goes the fastest too. So like you're standing in there and like it, you might only be like half your calf is covered, but it's pushing you forward and you're trying to like get everything situated, and like it can be a little dangerous. That and like add the day drinking and stuff like that, and
the best part.
Yeah. Right, because you just take a bus back and you're good. But yeah, it's I didn't think about that. So yeah, that's probably how they do it there. There's probably not much paddling upstream, so I don't know if it's possible. I don't know. You put a little like fishing boat motor on the back of it, and
a little trolling motor.
Yeah,
it should be good.
Yeah. You gotta have the people like pull start it. After that, you can relax, though. I promise.
They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot here in Lansing. Like they have that new park. I was just down there the other day at Thanksgiving. I did the turkey trot, and in front of LCC they have that new park right there along the river.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I've been by it. Yeah, I haven't like stopped to see it, but I rode by it and it looked really, really nice. There was a ton of people there.
Yeah.
And it's what, like sensory friendly too,
is it really,
or something like that? Yeah, it boasts something like that as far as like its ability to be inclusive.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't know though.
No, I don't know.
It is a nice park though. It is, and it's a nice spot. Like I never imagined a park being there.
Me neither.
But it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, good for Lansing. And they got tons of residential stuff coming down. Have you seen like the plans for these new buildings that are like all glass and mirrors, and like apartment complexes that are like I can't remember how tall the Bougie Tower is, but it's like it's like 1 or 2 floors taller than that.
Whoa.
So it would be like basically the tallest building in Lansing.
Where's this at?
It's going to be downtown, like somewhere around like Ottawa and Capitol. like right by the Capitol, basically.
Okay.
Somewhere we were trying to figure it out, and I couldn't figure out where there was an open plot in that area that would make sense for something this big to be in, without like knocking down one of those old churches that's out there. So
Don't
like
do that.
I know that's how you get ghosts. But like, so yeah, I couldn't figure out exactly where it was going, but like they have plans for like a lot of residential stuff to be built in the next literally like year.
There's so many apartment buildings being built right now. It's insane.
Well, it's like, and the reason for that is because the representatives and stuff like that, the people working at the Capitol, they don't live here anymore. They all come in for session and then leave. They're not spending their money here like they used to.
Do you think they're going to move to Lansing though? Like downtown Lansing specifically?
I don't think it's meant for them. It's just meant to get people downtown.
I see.
You know, whoever basically can afford the housing that is affordable, which is a whole nother thing. But like, you know, these are like the places that are going to have like stores on the first floor and gyms and like all this kind of amenities and like office space. There's this new hybrid thing that's, you know, big with like the office space and apartments and everything all in one, like the Meyer downtown. You know, it's got a hotel and a Meyer and then apartments.
The thing is, though, they're building all these apartment complexes and they put the stores underneath and then they sit empty for so long.
They can, yeah.
And I've seen it like everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like the new apartment buildings that the Gillespie's built down by like Strange Matter Coffee Company, Pablo's, like kind of down near the east side.
Yeah.
Or in the east side.
Yeah.
And a lot of those are empty.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like, I mean, obviously something might go in there eventually.
Right.
But
I feel like, yeah, it would be good to have something already planned to go there before you build it.
Yeah,
you know, like there's one downtown that just got built, huge complex. And at one point there was literally one person living there.
Whoa.
Could you imagine that? Just like walking around this whole complex just by yourself. Like, it would be creepy as hell, but like cool as hell at the same time.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like, just like, it's just me. Like, no neighbors. Like, fuck, man. It'd be cool if you had like access to all the apartments. You could just like chill wherever
just
you
float
wanted.
around whichever apartment you want to be in.
But I mean, yeah, if they don't have like, and that's the thing that I question, that I wonder about, is like, what's the occupancy like before you build it? Like, do you have people like signed up for leases already? Like, because like obviously the building process is something that can be delayed quite a bit, very easily. So like, you know, if somebody signs like a lease that starts when the construction is supposed to stop in like June, but it takes them until September to finish, you know, what do you do then? And like, because they probably are moved out of their place, and you know, it's got to be super difficult to figure that out.
Well, I'm wondering like if the reason why they're building so many apartment complexes is because a lot of people can't afford to buy houses right now. And
even though it's like,
because if you look, they're also building a lot of storage complexes. There's a lot of them. So many of them. They're continuously building them
because it's a fucking money, like it's a money grab. Like, you build you know, some fucking sheds and then charge people hundreds of dollars a month to put their shit there. Like, and you like, what kind of, you got hardly any upkeep. Like, because you put all of it on them through the contract, right? Like, you say you're not responsible for anything. And then you got a couple employees that you got to pay every day.
Yeah.
Like, you got a camera system you got to keep up or whatever. But like, there's so much money in storage. Like,
and then if somebody doesn't pay or they go default, then you can sell all this shit.
Yeah,
sell all this shit.
You auction their shit off. Yeah, literally. I have a storage unit, and that's why I'm like, like, so annoyed by it. But like, I was a week behind, right? I've been renting this unit for, I don't know, 10 months, paid every month just fine. I was a week behind, and they disabled my code and put a lock on my fucking unit in a week.
Whoa.
And I had no access to it until I paid in a week. Like I can live in an apartment for 3 months, like without being like locked out. Like, and then a week.
So how long does it take for, if you go default on your payments, for them to auction off your stuff?
Oh God, I hope I don't get to that point. I don't know. I know that like after a month, I think they'll put a lien on your stuff, which is just another bill, which is like, so we're just gonna make it harder for you to get your shit back, basically. Like, you know, you haven't paid a month, your next month is gonna, you know, compile on top of that, and then we're gonna add an extra $100, just, you know, because we're dicks, basically. I mean, my rent went up 30% after 6 months.
Whoa.
That's insane, right?
Why would it go up?
30%.
You don't sign a contract?
No, you do, but they can do whatever they want. Basically, that's what their contract says. We do whatever we want, and you just sign it.
Wow.
Because you need a place to keep your shit, right?
That's crazy. I remember we rented, before we bought the house, we had a storage unit at the U-Haul place. It was indoor. It was climate controlled. It was nice. It was new too. And yeah, I don't remember having any trouble with it at all.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like it was that expensive.
I haven't had like a huge amount of trouble with it. But it's like, yeah. So and I talked to one of the managers about it. They said basically like, yeah, after your first 6 months, your bill's going to go up. Period. Right. That's
period.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they got a computer doing algorithms, and it bases stuff on occupancy and
so demand, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So like whether the students are here or not affects it a lot.
That's kind of crap,
like
though,
that,
right? Like
it's absolute crap.
Because like I rented this thing at this price, it should stay that price.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, you have to account for inflation, right? So like that's one thing that's always going to be accounted in, like with like contracts and stuff like that, is like so what he said was, I got in this, like, it was a crazy time where like the inflation was being calculated, and like it was being raised like after the first 6 months, because that's just what happens. So it went up from $100 a month to $130 in 1 month.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like,
that's not even a couple bucks.
That's like, no, it's like I said, it's 30%. That's an insane amount. Like, could you imagine, like, you like going from 1,000 to 1,300? You know, that's the same. Like, that's the same difference, really. But like, it blew my mind. It's something like I'm looking into this because I'll be better off like renting an office space and keeping my stuff in my office, right?
Wow.
Like, yeah, because like I can get an office space for pretty cheap, and
where at?
And it can be utilized for much more like than a storage unit, right?
Right.
Like I can do shit there. I can have internet, and I can like have meetings and whatnot.
Yeah,
be professional and shit. But like also like this storage unit locks their gates at 10 p.m.
It's also a tax write-off too.
10 p.m. What an office?
An office space.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think a storage unit is though.
No, probably not.
No,
unless it's for business purposes.
Right. Which like there are some though that do that. There's one on the north side that rents out, and like you can run an office out of them.
Really?
Yeah. Mine's like, no. Mine's specifically in the contract, you could not run a business out of this.
Who's running a business out of a storage unit?
so like it's
come get a massage at my
I mean, you could, like, it's like, I feel like they're different than like you would like think like of when you typically think of a storage unit, you know what I mean? Like they're bigger, and they're like they're in the like in the indoor space, so like they're temperature controlled, and there's like a main area, I guess, in between, but like, yeah, you were to like go in like this big ass cube, and then there's like like little signs on the doors and stuff for like the orthodontist, and
oh
like,
my gosh.
And then there's somebody like selling bikes and like, you know, whatever, like get your tires changed and your oil changed and shit.
Oh my gosh.
But like I don't know, like I have no idea the logistics of those things. I just know that it does exist. But like mine is like, yeah, it's just basic. Like you can keep shit there, and you can go and you can look at it all you want and take it out when you need. But like from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m., I can't get in there.
Whoa.
Yeah, they just disable all the codes, and the gate won't open.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like
if you're on second shift or third shift, you're screwed.
Right, yeah. Which is like, it's complete bullshit. Like why it's already a gated community. Like why if I have a code, I should be able to get into my unit whenever I need. Because like that's a problem I was running into was with the pedicab when I was trying to do that. Like if I'm out like taking people home from the bar or like transporting people between, destinations and stuff, I'm gonna be out past 10 every night.
Yeah.
And where am I supposed to put it then? Like that's what I got the unit for, was to store my bikes and the things that I need for my job, for my business. And then you're gonna tell me like I can't access it? Like so
yeah,
like
that's
maybe
frustrating.
Yeah, like we should negotiate. Right, rent should be half, because I can only get to my shit half the day. Right.
That's hilarious. Well, Jeremy, we're an hour and 24 minutes into this.
Yeah, it always goes so fast.
It does. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really did go by fast.
Yeah,
we definitely need to do it again before another year.
Yes. Oh yeah. 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 Hopefully I'll have like, I don't know, some crazy news about expanding to East Lansing or something by then.
You definitely should expand to East Lansing.
I've been spending a lot more time in East Lansing. I do Uber Eats now as well.
Okay.
On a bike.
Oh, cool.
They since they allow it, and like it's always funny, like when people see me pull up, they're like, you're on a bike? And I think some of them actually, like when they like on the app, it shows like a bike like coming their way instead of a car or whatever, like when you open up the app and you can see where they're at. I'm like, I figured like either that or like they just see that this car's moving really fucking slow compared to like normal. Like,
well, they're probably really drunk and they're like, what
is going on? Pushing his car? Like, what the fuck is happening? But what's funny though is like, I get called out to the East Lansing McDonald's on Grand River.
Yeah.
A lot. And I get there before the food's ready every single time. So like, it's like, if you're worried about like a bike taking long, like I am there before my food is done. And like, I see a lot of drivers get there 20 minutes after the food's been sitting there, like stuff like that. So like,
and you can weave in and out of traffic a lot easier than a lot of these cars can.
Yes, I can take bike paths. I can take the river trail. I can pull right up to your front door. Like, there's no need. Like, I don't got to worry about parking and none of that stuff. So go check out the website.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be in the links or in the show notes, I should say.
Hell yeah. redbikeDelivery.com.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Jeremy. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Thank you.
See you, everybody.